Gonna do a dev chat. I actually don't have a lot to talk about, to be honest. Let's play some music. Let me bring up my chat window. I need to make sure that my alerts are working as well. For some reason my alerts weren't working last night. Yo, Sakana, you have a meeting? Damn, you have a meeting on Sunday? Busy. See you in 2 hours if I still stream until then. Alright. Have all the best for your meeting. Hello. Hang on, I need to bump up the volume. Hello. Hang on.
Hello.
What?
Hello.
Hello.
Is Chow really low, or is that me?
Oh, is it? Am I really low?
It's a little better.
Okay, hang on. Let me bump up my volume again. Okay, there we go.
Bump up
Let me see if I
volume.
can change the volume. No, it's at max, unfortunately.
I turn it up on my side.
So how's the holidays been?
Tiring.
Damn.
Got you at 200, Chow.
Alright.
200%.
Hopefully it's okay.
Wait,
Yeah, I think the volume is okay now.
turn Chinny down now.
What's up? Okay, I've been playing Signalist. Have y'all heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's so good. It's so good. It's like Resident Evil meets Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this,
Yeah, I can't get over the way they do the storytelling. Right? It's told in like a non-linear fashion, and it's like made somewhat confusing, but it keeps you guessing, and I like it. I love the style. It's awesome.
Yeah, the pixelated isometric style.
Yeah. And it's not just that. It's not just the visual style. It's like the way it's so unapologetically chooses like certain ways of portraying horror. Like I mean, it's not super scary, right? But there are moments in the game where how do I put it? Like there's this enemy that supposedly mess with your head, right? And what the game does is that it just renders like all kinds of weird noises and numbers right all over your screen. And you know, I just think it's kind of cool. It's very stylish.
Nice.
Yeah. So what have you all been
Kind
doing?
of. Does that remind you of Eternal Darkness or something?
Yeah, I was gonna say Eternal Dark. I was trying to remember the name of it.
Does it remind me of? Well, Eternal Darkness is trying to break the fourth wall, right? This game not so much. Yeah, this game doing its own thing, I think. but you can definitely see a lot of influences from Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and even like animes, right? Like I think there are certain portrayals of like certain cutscenes that reminds me of the Bakemonogatari series. So it's a bit kind of like a weird reference to throw in there, but it works well. It seems cool.
Silent Hill meets anime.
Yeah, Silent Hill meets anime meets Resident Evil, and it's one of those games where.
Silent Hill.
Sorry.
Moe Silent Hill.
Well, it's not. It's not. I wouldn't say.
The main character just has huge eyes.
Yeah, but puzzle solving is a big part of the game. Like you know how modern games are like so streamlined now that whatever clues you need to beat the game, right? The like modern games tend to make it super obvious. They will literally point you to the destination. But this game, I need to copy down notes to beat it, and I think it's refreshing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like physically?
Yeah, I have to write the notes down on paper. I mean like whatever notes you read, there is a page within the game's menu for you to access it, but it's a lot easier, right, if you just physically write down the notes on paper. Yeah, and it becomes easier to solve, easier to play.
Call back to like the older games, like Wizardry you had to do that, and a lot of older games you had to do that basically.
Yeah, I'm not that well versed with. Sorry, what?
Actually, you just need a bigger brain.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah. So I've not played a lot of those like really old games, right? But like for this, when I play it, I thought it's like refreshing. Maybe everything is a cycle, you know. Like eventually we'll go back to the really old design. Design. What do you call that? Design choices.
Yeah, I mean like Etrian Odyssey is like, I mean it's not super modern, but it's a DS game where like it incorporates the map making on your
Oh, you plot the path, right?
Yeah, that's from the old Wizardry games, but instead they use it on the DS screen.
Oh, so Wizardry plays like that? Because I have played Etrian Odyssey before.
Wizardry plays like that if you the older ones you have to draw it on graph paper basically.
Oh
Like
damn!
in real life.
Wow!
There's programs that actually key in and find the hex data.
Yeah.
And can actually automate it for you. It's called a grid cartographer. It's compatible with most old dungeon crawlers. Yeah.
Interesting. Is it the how grindy is it? Because I remember Etrian Odyssey was like super grindy.
Wizardry is really grindy, but I think the crux of it is figuring out how to optimize your grinding, basically.
Ah,
You
right.
still have to grind, but then the fun of it is figuring out loopholes or like ways to kind of like break the balance of the game.
Right.
And also there's a lot of crazy puzzles that can just hard lock you, which is great. Not great, I mean bad. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, shall we start the first death chat of the year? I guess.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes, chat. Wow.
So we usually start with John, right? John.
Yeah.
Are you ready to
Yeah.
once again show us nothing?
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, I got stuff. Well, no, well, maybe.
Hang on.
Yeah. So, new Mac, who this?
Oh, new Mac. Nice.
Yeah, it's an M2 MacBook Air. So it's a new year, and so new year means new project, right?
Oh, okay. There goes rubber duckies.
It goes rubber duckies. New year, new project, yay! So I have resolved to learn a new programming language this year, and so it's back to learning Rust this year. Yay.
Haven't you done
To
this?
your point, what was
What?
kind of Rust? I see it brought up now and again, but what is Rust?
Rust. So Rust is a low-level programming language. I think it was intended to be a systems programming language. So meaning you write like low-level stuff like drivers and operating systems and
Oh.
anything that needs to interact with like closely with the hardware. The difference between it and C and C++ is that Rust has a stronger sense of types. Is stronger, stricter on types than C or C++. Like stuff like C and C++ have a lot of areas where they say, oh, it's undefined behavior if you do this. Like, did you know if you add like if you keep adding one to your integer, if it overflows, it's undefined behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Rust tries its best to clear up everything, all of this stuff.
It also has like stricter memory ownership, right? Or it has like
Yes.
a different way of doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it tracks it tries its best, the compiler tries its best to track ownership. The language tries its best to get you to work with this borrow checker with the ownership of memory and stuff like that. So the idea is that because a lot of vulnerabilities out there are due to people just playing around with pointers in C, C++, and just accessing stuff after they're freed or
Yeah.
just
It's like
yeah,
90%
using
of
animation.
video issues, right? Actually.
yeah.
Damn.
So the whole point of Rust is to get you to not do that kind of stuff.
Right. And how far are you into this?
The last time I tried learning Rust, I made like a really tiny thing, but I didn't really learn a lot. So I learned the basics, but I've completely forgotten the basics. I didn't get to work very much with the borrow checker. I didn't get to experience the stuff that the language that makes you work.
Right. Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah.
Bolo checker?
Borrow checker, like borrow stuff. You know, you borrow books from
Oh,
the library.
Boro. I was like, what is BOLO? Right, Boro.
Borrow,
Right. I see.
Shifting, right?
Sorry, I thought well, anyway. Yeah, so that's it. So I am going to start learning Rust again before this year. So
I think some of my friends are making games in Rust as well. You
Mhm,
can,
mhm,
I know it's
Mm,
like pretty good language for that, but I don't know whether that's true or not.
right.
I can use Rust myself. I know what Rust is and I know its specialties, but I never use it. So
Yeah. Neither have I.
in general, the language is very similar to C, C++. You have structs, you have you have structs, you have maybe extended stuff that's more commonly used in it's more common in more modern languages like pattern matching. So this would like be like a switch case, but you know more expressive.
do you have like regex stuff in there, or like is it just like
I don't think these are regex. I don't think you can put regexes in.
you can't put regex right in there?
I don't think you can. But the pattern matching itself is really quite expressive. So
Are you familiar with that dot
vectors-
operator there? What's that?
I think this just means like 0 to 9 inclusive.
Right.
You're matching characters here. So you're matching the 0 character to the 9 character, and the equal is just to say that it's inclusive.
Ah.
I've used this before, but I think that's how it reads. So it kind of looks. I mean, that it makes sense to because
Yeah.
of the output anyway.
Right.
Number.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. What do you
So
intend
that's
to
my
make with this?
resolution.
Right. Yeah. That's your
don't
resolution, right?
know.
But what do you intend to make? No. And no idea yet.
Right. So I have another resolution.
Uh-huh.
So it's the start of the new year, so I'm going to make my resolutions right now.
Right.
I think I want to be able to put at least one game up on the App Store somehow
App
by the end
Store.
of the year.
App Store. My mobile.
Yeah.
Using Rust.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe I'll go with like Flutter or
It
something.
matters. Godot has Rust bindings, I guess.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it does. If I remember right.
Yeah, that is.
There we go.
Someone has it.
Cool. I don't know whether that's good or not, but there we go.
So do you intend
So,
to
yeah, so-
build all of the engine level stuff, or do you intend this time around, right, to find an engine to build your game on top of?
I'm thinking I might just go with Godot.
Right.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I
it's
don't
like
know how well it's. Yeah, I don't know how well it's integrated. But yeah.
yeah. In any case, like it's like these are two separate resolutions,
Uh-huh.
but if they can be joined together, it will help. I mean,
Right.
But these are two separate things.
What's your track record with your resolutions, newer resolutions?
0%. So,
Yo!
it's like maybe this year will be a
When
new
you get one, it's
new
more
thing.
special.
Yeah.
What?
When you actually get one, it's more special.
Yeah.
0% track record.
Yeah, that would be like an infinite % improvement if I do.
Exactly. It's asymptotic, you know.
John, we have a Rust user in the server, you know, right? Knock.
Yeah, I know.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe I'll be asking Rust questions in the server.
Yeah, you can chit chat about it. That's cool, man.
So that was two resolutions. One is learn Rust. The other is put a game on the App Store somehow by the end of the year. In the meantime, I think I want to just like work on tiny experiments. I want to find a working style that really suits me, a way of making games or tiny experiments that really suits me.
Right.
I'm still exploring.
What do you mean by style?
I guess partly a schedule, partly a development framework.
Right. I think the schedule will be your first barrier, right? The first hurdle.
First thing to tackle.
Yeah. Because you're so
work on
busy
it.
with so
I'll
many
work on it.
things.
I'm working on it.
Right. Okay. Cool, man. Yeah.
In the meantime, so over like, oh yeah, Chow, you wanna say something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like making a roguelike, like a small roguelike in Rust. There's a lot of tutorials for roguelikes in Rust. So
Yes.
I find that's an easy way to get started since it's all text based and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a very small one. Like it doesn't need to be a full-on roguelike. It can just be a. It's a good way to learn, in my opinion. A new language. That's what I normally do. That's what I did like a few weeks ago. 1 week ago, I learned a new language by like porting over a traditional game into digital.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And in the meantime, I just want to show something that I kind of worked on over the break. So I had to set up this new computer, and this time around I'm trying something new. I'm using NeoVim instead of Vim.
Oh man.
But I had to work on some Java code,
Right.
and the Java plugin I had was giving me weird things.
Wait, John,
When you look over
half
here,
of
you
us
see,
are not familiar with Vim. Can you talk about what NeoVim how's it different?
NeoVim is like Vim, but rewritten by a bunch of other people who didn't like some of the design choices.
How are you
Vim.
gonna say it's better Vim, but then like you stop to reword it?
No,
They stop a
I'm
lot
not
of
saying
people.
So you don't dare to commit to saying that it's better.
No. I mean, like they're both improving, and because NeoVim came about, the original Vim is now getting a lot more new features because of the competition.
Basically,
competition.
basically the original Vim was like a spaghetti or Mamma Mia horrible code apparently. from what I read up.
Yeah.
And new Vim is a restructuring of the code base.
Yeah, exactly.
Certain things only support NeoVim, certain things only support original Vim. Or certain things support both but require a certain version of each.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I think it would be fact to say that Vim script was pretty messed up. So
Yes, it will. Yes, you're correct. It will be fact.
yeah, so Vim script is pretty messed up.
I've used it so much, and it's like, oh my god.
Whereas NeoVim supports using Lua as the main scripting language to configure the editor.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem with using a Vim emulator, right? Like, you can't have access to actual. VS Code Vim is they're making a new Vim thing to like plug into it, but it's not ready yet. Yeah. But
Yeah, so I've used
not have a
VS
similar
Code.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, I've used VS Code and with like a Vim plugin, and I just miss all my Vim stuff.
Yeah, no, VS Code Vim is worse than VS Vim. VS Vim actually allows you to do Vim RC stuff. And VS Code Vim, they're making a new Vim plugin that allows you to pretty much use the new Vim executable. So it actually works like new Vim inside the,
Cool.
A lot of advancements.
So anyway, like the cool thing is because VS Code came about, and then the editor now, like VS Code kind of popularized using language servers to do syntax highlighting or syntax completion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
LSP, language server protocol. They kind of started it. I'm not sure if they started it or they just made it popular, but basically nowadays the modern. So now the modern editors, I think more upcoming editors are using language server protocols, connecting to separate engines to provide completion and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better, in my opinion anyway. In my admittedly dumb bubblegum experience, it's like a lot better.
So
it's kind of like intermediary, it's a kind of proxy.
So what are we looking at here?
Right. So I was using the Java language server to do some diagnose. I mean, basically edit Java code. But if you look over here, right, it says like there's this little warning here, info tip saying that this variable is not used. But you can see the highlighting the underline. The underline is kind of off. And then like when I try to do when I try to do completion, right, system dot something, you'd expect to see like system dot, the completion would be like out and stuff like that. These methods are methods on my class instead of on system. And then I had, playing around, I realized that if I added like lots of spaces and I put a dot, then I get like
Which one are you using for the plugin?
I am using Java language server. So Java language server works based on.
But it's a role, right?
There are a few. There are a few plugins available. I'm using like some. I think I'm using like the built-in LSP clients, server client, and like some Vim LSP config and Vim CMP and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but anyway.
I remember which I'll like send you, but there's one that basically is trying to support a bunch of languages, and I found it's kind of like an intermediary for the intermediaries, and it works because it's like
there's something called Mason. Yeah, there's something called Mason and stuff like that.
I can't remember if that's. I'll send you if I remember.
Yeah. So anyway, like I was getting very annoyed. I didn't want to use like the Eclipse. There's an Eclipse language server available. But I wanted to use something that was based off like this thing called the Java compiler API. Just kind of off topic, but anyway. So I was trying to debug why this was happening, and then I realized like it only happens when you use tabs, right, for indentation and not spaces for indentation.
Oh.
But I like new tabs. Yeah. Like I type system and then space and then I put a dot, and then I get like the actual completion. So and it seemed like if I type 7 spaces then put a dot, then I get the correct completion. So I kind of realized, maybe it was like the tabs that were affecting the thing.
Right.
So then I dug into like the plugin.
This is the reason why I switched from NeoVim to like actual emulator. At least for me. Because like previously when I was using these kind of plugins, right, I actually had to go into the plugin code and actually rewrite it when stuff like that happened. which is not what I want to do with my time. So, so yeah.
It turns out that it is something that I want to do with my time. So.
Oh no! Oh no!
Right. So John.
Resolution.
Uh huh. So how do you fix
So
it?
I dug. Alright, so I dug into the plugin. So I like had to dig around like the Java compiler API and then the language server
God.
protocol and then, like what exactly is the thing? And then I found out like Neovim is like passing the position, the byte position. But this plugin that I'm using takes the column position, like which column of the line you're at.
Huh.
So like a tab counts as 1 byte. So if you pass the byte position, but then the Java compiler API treats tabs as like eight spaces, eight columns. So I had to like some way to convert between the byte offset and the column offset and whatnot, and it was terrible, but I got it to work well enough.
That's cool.
But now if I go to the code, yeah, if I go to code now, it looks fine. I can kind of demo it. Oh no, work stuff. Oh no.
Oh no.
Maybe you shouldn't be looking at this. Yeah. So now it looks. Oh, it's not working anymore. Hey, it works! Yay! Look at that! Yay! Hey!
How long did that take for you to debug?
Yay! A week maybe.
Wow.
I spent a lot of time like banging my head against the table, trying to figure out like what exactly was going wrong.
Right.
It was very painful.
Yeah. I understand your pain, John. I've done pretty much the same thing.
Was it worth it? Was it worth it?
I feel proud of myself for
Awesome.
some reason.
That doesn't answer the question whether it's worth it.
Well, I mean, if you're happy with it, that's all you need.
Progress.
Yeah.
Progress.
Awesome.
Progress.
Yeah. So that's that. That's it for me. Yay.
Ooh,
Next
man.
week I'll show me debugging some other plugin.
Very cool.
Wait, so what you're doing here is you recompile the plugin or something?
Yeah, I recompiled the plugin.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Okay.
I'd like to make a note that if like you do it on Windows, it's 10 times more painful than if you do it on a Unix-based operating system. Mostly because they don't usually test your stuff on stuff that's not a Unix-based operating system at all. And there's a lot of like OS compatibility stuff that you have to deal with on top of that. So that's why
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Very
Use a
cool.
Mac.
I really want to use Neovim though, but yeah.
Use a Mac.
I want to be cool too. So, I'll
John's.
just use gear.
Alright, that's it.
How much is that Mac, John? How expensive is it?
2,000 something bucks.
Oh.
2,000 bucks. I think.
So what did Divya say?
Next question.
Yeah, I thought Divya said something.
Oh, was it worth it?
Oh, was it worth it?
Next question.
Next question.
Can you supply me a Mac because I might need one? Well, I guess I'll talk about it later.
John's an Apple fan, right?
Damn. Well, Apple contacted
Next
me,
question.
that's why I need to talk about it.
Apple contacted you. Cool. Let's hear about that during your
Let's hear about it.
presentation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
Presentation.
Okay. I think it's my turn. I don't think I need to share much. All I did was I wrap up version 1.0.0 of my game. I submitted it. It's approved. I'm one button away from publishing it. And that's about it, right? And the rest of the time, I was working on adding new characters and adding gamepad support. So nothing really much to show. So I think I'll just show something funny that I found. Hang on. One moment. Where's my... Oh, there we go. anyways, you know, like after you release the game, right? For the first few months, you will be frequently checking the reviews and whatnot. But then after a while, you forget about it. Like I forgot about it, and last week I thought like, hey, you know, I have some spare time in school. I will just go through the reviews and reply to each of the reviews, and I saw one. I mean, it's nothing important, but I just thought it's funny. Like this is what I got. So apparently someone couldn't beat my game, right? And it says fix it or I will sue. That's about all I have to share.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage. I tell you what's funny. They even specify the amount they are suing me for. So I will sue for 10k.
They didn't say like the currency though. Like
They did. Yeah, they did.
name it a bit.
Yeah, so,
USD.
yeah, could be USD. I don't know. I have to check. I forgot what region this person is from. But yeah, apparently the character is speeding too fast for him to time the jump, so he's suing me for 10k. I guess I'll have to wait for the letter. That's about it. I'll be publishing the game on Wednesday, so a few days from now, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, next. I guess it's Devious System.
That's how you wait.
Huh?
That's how you know you've made it, you know.
That's how I know you made it.
Yeah, when you don't get a lawyer's letter suing you for 10k, like that's how you know you've made it.
My company's not a private limited, so if anyone sues me, right, it's just like I'm in trouble, man.
It used to be a joke in game dev server that unless you get a death threat, you haven't made it. Which is kind of dark, but then like a few of them have gotten it, so I mean. Oh well.
Oh well. Okay.
Now I go.
This DBS System.
Right, I got a thing to share.
All right. Hand sleeping, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, new year, new project, right?
Pretty bad too. So I started this in December 4th, I think it was. And
It wasn't even the new year.
So I was working on the mini games for Dragonmon, and I was like, just trying to think of stuff. And then I had an idea for a dice game, and I was like, well, I can't really fully put that in Dragonmon, so I'll make like a quick little.
Oh no!
Like,
Oh, no.
a quick little test to see like how it would play or whatever. And so that blew up into this. This is pretty much the only thing I got to work on now is a little bit of balancing, a little bit of the UI, and the final boss fight. But the whole game is pretty much like that. Yeah.
I like the title screen though.
I
Yeah.
like the little. I'm gonna start doing that like in all my games where you like move the mouse and it moves the little thingy. It's gonna be my signature.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, you let me actually have it uploaded. It's on itch, but not
nice.
public.
Ah.
Oh.
So if anyone wants to play it, they can play it. But yeah, y'all can't hear it, right?
Nope.
Got options.
Oh, we can't hear the music, right?
Yeah, but I can though.
All right, right.
It was really loud.
Oh.
Here, wait, let me. Should I just share the screen? For the
Someone asked whose team?
whose team?
Yeah, team. TIM. Tim. Whose team?
Oh, Tim. Oh,
Tim.
he was a streamer actually. He influenced the game.
It's the what?
That kind of helped the game. I was like, "Hey Tim, I'm gonna make a game about you." I was joking, but here you
Hey.
go. But yeah, it just started blowing up, and I just started working on it more and more, and then it became what it is.
Uh-huh.
Let me,
Oh, look at that spinny thing.
And see.
yeah.
Oh, those are.
Alright, can you...
Is that the dice?
Yeah, those are dice. Like I said, I was messing with dice. I was like trying to figure out.
Ah.
Yeah.
Satisfying sound.
How do you tell what they represent?
Right now they don't represent anything. It's just like a thing.
Okay.
But if you like move, whenever he was talking earlier and he tells you to like move around with the Waz, then you run into your first enemy, which is a dummy. Before I didn't have this, I just added this like 2 days ago. And it was because before you were fighting an actual enemy, but there was nothing like really explained, so you didn't know how to fight. So I just pretty much gave the players like, you can't die in this little section. He's like, what the hell is that? Get away. Oh, wait a second, it's just a scarecrow. Something's giving me this. Blah blah blah. The dice are shaking. They're lit up. And you know, he's like, oh, you can probably roll them. You're like, oh, okay. Then you start seeing these little things pop up as you keep like going. And then you notice like when you hit the skulls, it makes a noise, it does a thing. You just keep going. And he says like go, it's all blinking and everything. I had to add a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff wasn't super clear, so I had to think of ways to like, without the guy just straight up saying, okay, I gotta click this and this. I just decided to go with the UI approach of just blinking and highlighting everything. So he's like blinking or whatever, he's got the thing filled, he's like, oh, okay. You like shoot. Whoa. Lose a thing, and you just keep going. Like heal.
So you're building up the meter until until it's filled up, right? Right.
It's actually a lot of fun to just just do that.
Wait, so is it turn based or is it all in real time?
No, it's live. This is just a taste of like what the combat will be.
Right.
And I'm gonna show you what the combat actually looks like. Yeah, so he like tells you don't do the skulls or whatever. Here, let me turn because the sound effects are probably really loud for y'all. But yeah, make it play like a random sound effect every time you change it. So you can get like a feel of what it is. Voice. There you go. And this is the actual combat. It's not Scarecrow. So now this is the actual thing that can fight you, that can hurt you. So you know you use what you learned before, and you're like, okay, I gotta do this stuff. One thing I kind of have to teach is the defense, so you can just like, you know, defend. But so you queued up a defense, so next time he attacks, it'll block the defense, and it'll take away from your current armor. Now you know, see, yeah. So you filled up your little thing, and you just shoot him. Oh, he did.
All right.
And then that's pretty much the game right there. Well, you know, sort of. As you move around, you can. Yeah, he tells you. I did this too, because this wasn't super clear that you could just search wherever. So he says this like 5 times. You have to search 5 times before he stops saying this. Just to hammer that in. Because yeah, that was the thing people didn't. Even when I told them, they forgot. So I have to like really get them to do it. So basically, like, okay, there's a timer going, so you gotta flip your little things. And you gotta fill the meters. So whenever you fill the meters, you get different things. Here. And this is the little upgrade area. So like, whenever you go over these, there's another thing added because he covers the thing. Like, you know, this is how you
this song sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it's a free song. I'm sure it's been used like plenty of other places.
Yeah.
Let me see. And they level up with you, sort of. I'm kind of still messing with the algorithm with like how it, or I don't even know what to call it, to like make them stronger or whatever. So he has 2 attack now. He had like 1 attack before. So as you level up your stuff, they get stronger. And it also is dependent on like how far you are. Oh yeah, you gotta avoid the skulls. So like when you fight them.
Oh, blood.
Oh, it started out so cute and then.
Yeah, it gets. Yeah, whenever you like for example, if you use the I just added this too. Skips a lot of the Yeah, this guy. This little rat dude is NPC. He's got a lot of dialogue, so I'm gonna get that. Like I've read it like so many times, proofreading and. But like everyone that's like read it, they enjoyed it, so they really like that character. So that's good. So yeah, so you have a shop. So like you can go in here and you got all these items. Each item like there's There's 60 items total. 10 melee, 10 ranged, 10 magic, 10 shields, 10 armor, and then what was the other 10? There was another 10. Oh, 10 rings. So like you got rings that you can wear over here. This is the 6 things that you can equip. So there's 60 of them. And then there's an extra 20 items that are just like consumables or whatever, and that's what these are over here. And it tells you like what each one does or whatever. You got all your dice, you can buy, you can sell. Oh yeah, you gotta go through this dialogue.
So is the most of the strategy in the game based around how you upgrade your character rather than, you know, like what happens during combat?
Whenever I started designing it, I was like, I'm gonna focus heavy on RNG, which I usually never do. I'm usually all about the
the player's agency.
You get it, yeah. But you can influence a lot of the RNG though. So the dice that you can buy, the dice you can buy can influence your rolls. So it shows you like which, like what the dice do. Like what are your chances of rolling or whatever. So there are dice that affect like your treasures, like in the search areas, like you can get more money or get more chests. Speaking of which.
Right.
Yeah, so like when you find a chest, you can just open it. You get all your little items. Oh yeah, so this is an example of a dice. So like this dice focuses all on archery, but it goes extra on the skulls. But,
those are the 6 faces of the. Ah, I see.
Yeah.
What's the skull supposed to be?
It's just like so in combat. Let me show you. There it goes. Okay, so in combat, you're rolling your dice and you get a skull. But a skull has a little timer that goes down. So if you flip the skull, let me see if I can get it.
You can't use it until the timer.
Yeah, then it affects their timers. It makes them go faster.
Ah.
Yeah, so you can't just be like, whatever. You have to actually look at the faces on the thing. Yeah, so it's a what do you call it?
Oh, so you're preventing people from spamming.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but it's like a reflex. What's that word? That word for that kind of game? Dexterity. Yeah, I think it's dexterity. It's a dexterity game.
Yeah.
Where you have to actually be able to. I'm gonna die. So. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. The whole game. And then you meet. There's 14 monsters that you can fight, and each one has its own little ability. Oh yeah, let me show you that. If I don't die. Yeah. And this is a list of everything in the game right now.
Nice.
So it shows you all the items, equipments, the 20 items, equipments.
I love how tiny the icons are.
Yeah, I mentioned these little. I thought it was gonna be like really hard, but it was just fun. Like got it as close as I could. Yeah, there's a shit ton of icons though. Actually, I had a lot of fun making these, like just trying to figure out. This one took a while for me to try and figure out. Even still, I'm like so on it. But close enough. Whatever. Like this one, I was like, well, this kind of looks like a fish. At first, it was something else, and then I was like, it already looks like a fish, so I'm just making a putrid fish dish. I was like, whatever. And some of these are kind of like very vague in their shapes. So it's like Rocker's Drink. It's kind of like that canned look, whatever. You got like Elf Nectar. You got all this stuff. There's all the stuff that you also found in the shop. So you got like each ring, each item has like their own special ability as well. So there's some strategy in that. Oh, let me show you one more thing. If I can actually get it to work, because it's a timing thing. Okay, so this is a meter right here. right above the little sword. You can't see my mouse, I forgot. There's a little meter right there that's slowly clocking up. Whoops. And say you wanted some like, that was that little thing that was blinking, the little right click. Say you wanted some time to think, you right click, and it gives you thinking time. So it pauses everything, but you can't roll the dice.
Nice.
And to get out of it, you can just right click again. Then it has to restart. So you have to, you know, I'm gonna die. No!
Oh!
I didn't realize I was so low enough. Whatever, I wasn't really paying attention.
Scrubs in the chat says that is such a nice UI.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making it.
Really cool.
You get all this, get your little dice sets. Get your, I haven't really, I guess, worked on that one, but I guess that's kind of obvious right now. This, alright, I forgot about this guy. Alright, so one of the fun things I like about the little thinking time, it does actually stop everything. So let's say you do it in the middle of a dice throw, it'll freeze the dice.
That's nice.
Yeah. Then, like, if you continue at the no land. So that's pretty much the game. You just keep going and all the way to the right, because the little guy, the NPC you met earlier, he explains to you like what you're supposed to do. Because that was another thing that people were bringing up. It wasn't clear on like what direction you're supposed to do or what you're actually supposed to be headed for. So when you talk to his name is Rimrat, and whenever you talk to him, he tells you to go to the right to meet his pal, and that's your like first little mission or whatever. Currently, there's no end boss, and you only talk to the NPCs once, but it's planned to talk to more than one, and to talk to them more than once. So you know, whatever. That's it. But that's like really easy to add. That's literally just like a sprite, and I have a whole dialogue system, and I literally just copy paste like 2 lines, and then from there I just add on lines for them to say. Then it just works. Is that everything? Oh yeah, I just changed this. I gotta add that or fix that, I guess. So right now it's mostly balancing and the end boss. And once I'm good with that, it's all good.
Nice.
That is my presentation.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, when do you intend to ship this?
Once I finish, actually really soon, I just gotta finish the boss. Once the boss is done, then I'm done with the game pretty much.
Nice.
I mean, I'm still gonna like do little things like fix some of the UI stuff, because most of the things I've been adding have been requests or like fixes for problems that people are having with the game. Still trying to teach someone the game is the problem, because I don't want to go full on like thing pops up and it tells you click this, and click this to do this. I'm trying to avoid that. I don't know if I need to avoid it, but I just, from a design point, I just want to avoid it for more like immersion or whatever.
Right.
Oh yeah, when you tells you like what the dice do. So like, this is another request. People weren't sure like what the dice were, but I was like, how the hell do I? Because they change based on. So in this case, it's a search area. So these change into the search dice. I'm doing quotes. So like this tells you like, you know, what the dice would be. But since you can't search up here, and it's just a clear, I could actually get rid of that. Since this is already searched, it now changes to a combat dice. Because the only thing you can do here is run into combat. You can't like do a search thing. This is the only like real fix I could think of to make it like yeah, it's the only fix I can think of, because it's 2 sets of dice that change depending on the space that you're on. So, yeah, this stays, yeah, like this one stays a combat, because you can't search this area. Or
Right.
you can, but you can't like search like in these empty areas. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so this is my slip again. My hands.
Carlos has a question about the color scheme. It's like he says, why is the game green but there are like some colors on the menu? I assume that this referring to the red, is that it? I'm not sure.
He's referring to these, I guess. Whenever they're like different colors and they pop up.
Right.
Green. I chose green, for like computer. I honestly do not fully know why I chose green. I just like green, and I, for some reason, was going for like a computer look. Again, I don't know why. I just did. And so, if you look closely, and whenever the pause time happens, there's scan lines.
Yeah, I noticed they're moving as well.
Yeah. There's like little scan lines, and they're very subtle. Maybe, I don't know. I might be just used to them. I've been going back and forth trying to make them brighter and darker because I don't know.
This looks okay on my screen, I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
This looks good.
Yeah, so I really don't know why. I just combined them, and I was just like, because part of it is like so the lore is that, well, he says it before you sort of actually. I don't know. Spoilers. In case anyone's interested. So the idea is that he's a dude at a casino.
Yeah.
And if you look at all the monsters, what were you gonna say? So if you look at all the monsters, they're all like themed after, like, I don't want to call them sins because that's a thing that's brought up.
Right.
It's not, because it's not hell. This is in the same universe as Crueler. You've been captured by the darkness. This is like in the future in a Crueler world.
Right.
So like the old Crueler games were like medieval times, and this is like much later in the future, whenever like modern era.
Oh my god! Shared universe.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right.
And so what happens is you get captured by the darkness, which is where Crueler lives, and then you get transported here, and then that's when you start meeting all the NPCs and stuff. And what happens is each character gets certain like items. They're called trinkets. And whenever you come here, you get a little trinket, and that trinket is like how you like survive or whatever. It's just a thing they give you. There's a semi-reason for it, but it's also just it's mostly just for like fun in games, because Crueller's whole thing is testing people. So so it's like a hell, but it's not hell,
Right.
And that's going to be brought up in the lore or whatever. Where was I going with this?
we were talking about color scheme, but somehow we are talking about lore.
Color scheme, right. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
No, actually, I just noticed. He was referring to the colors in the title screen, or rather the main menu.
Oh yeah. I was kind of. I don't think I can go back. Yeah, there's no way for me to actually go back to the main menu. There's only like 3 options. Yeah, whatever. Actually, my friend was playing it yesterday, and I didn't realize I forgot to quit. So all I have is a restart and a save, but I don't have like a quit button. So again, I did the same thing with Crueler on accident. But I gotta keep that in mind. There's a quit in the main menu,
but no quit in the actual game.
Yeah. So I don't want you to quit. That's what it is. So the color scheme, it actually. So I started working more with it, and kind of, I think what some of the influence was because it's not like modern times. It's like 90s, 80s, kind of like retro-ish. In like the retro era. And I was just working with that, and I was thinking like, well, I guess that kind of like works with it or whatever. So I was gonna make it so I started making it look more like a computer game for the old times, and that's why the green stuck more. And when it comes to the title screen, the reason I chose all those different colors was just because I started using more colors. Like before, it was just green, like straight up all green.
Right.
But as I started adding like more items and stuff, the color scheme started growing, which I didn't mind because it all worked together. And I needed some colors to represent certain things, like negatives or just like make them pop out more. Or in some of the enemies' cases, some of them have like red on them as well. It gets a little gory, but not like super gory. It's mostly just blood, not like organs or whatever.
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, it's catch up.
Yeah, I think the gore is frankly in the mind of the player, right? Because ultimately it's just like 3-4 pixels of red.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's cool. That makes it cool.
Yeah. So yeah, you have all the you have a list. So as you meet the monsters, you you unlock them right here. There's no save system yet, so like this all kind of, if you quit the game by pressing the X up there, not this X, but the close game, it'll erase all this. So you have to actually start from the beginning.
Right.
And you'll lose all this progress, but that's because the save system isn't in right now.
Right.
Which is why this is blacked out. But you can restart. This doesn't erase it though. So like this is still within the same confines of the game, I guess. Because one of the things with in Game Maker they have the game restart function, which restarts the whole game. But one of the things that doesn't get reset is the globals.
Oh.
So the globals carry over to the next game, even though you restarted the whole game.
Right.
Yeah. So I basically just use that to like, do a semi-save system for now. Just because like some of the people that were testing it, they were getting tired of constantly, especially when you're running the Rimrat again, because his dialogue is so long. Like they like him, but they don't like, they don't want to go through that like long dialogue for the beginning like that many times every time they restart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just put this little quick thingy right here. I'm also gonna put in the options like a little reset tutorial button, and then also the exit button. So I gotta make some room for that. I also themed it after like see that thing where I think that's everything.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Cool, man. Let us know when you have like a publicly available testing build.
It is. It's not. I'll share it to anybody that asks. So
share it with us.
So it's public in that sense. But
okay, you can paste it in
I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I'll post it in the
in the server or something, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thanks.
Where did I post it? Is there a...
Share my screen.
Dev chat is fine, right? And there we go. Yeah.
Game dev? Do I show it in game dev?
Both. Either way, either one works. Right. Now I can check it out. During break time tomorrow. There we go. Team's Paradise.
Yeah, there you go. Team's Paradise.
Let me paste it in the chat as well. Just one moment.
Yeah, let me know like if I've been taking suggestions from players, with a grain of salt, but a lot of it has helped. So like if anyone's playing it, just let me know and I'll look into it, try and fix it, especially bugs because I just changed a lot of stuff.
Okay, we'll let you know. Oh, so what are we looking at here?
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So this was just a programming experiment, just to like get used to it. So I ported basically the rules of a solo TTRPG over to Unity, and you got the starvation system, and you can eat fruit, and you can go in certain areas, you can find different resources. But it was just an experiment to like get going on programming again. But basically I ported over a bunch of the mechanics, not all of the events, not all of the choices, but I did a fair bit to learn a new language, which was Ink, which is a way to make narrative story-based stuff, but I found it useful for RPGs as well.
Ink? I-N-K?
Ink, I-N-K, is used for several game book conversions, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, so my hand is about to slip, I guess. And
what's up with both you and Devious? It's always
the thing is, my hand is gonna be forced to slip. Let me explain this first.
Yes.
I released this book, I think a week or two ago. It's been doing pretty well. It was the most popular physical item on itch for a while. I got enough to pay back my editor, so $400 plus, so that's pretty good.
That's nice.
And then like so the thing is, basically Apple contacted me, and I think they want me to port over Hi-Eye or Skull Chains to iOS.
Yeah.
I was gonna make them a counter kind of offer thing probably, but I'm not sure. I won't go into too much detail, but I was thinking of making a new game, right?
Okay.
Basically, I wanted to make a new game, but I wanted to do it in February or March, so I'm not sure when I'm actually gonna start. But I have this idea kicking around, right?
Uh-huh.
And that was because of my TTRPG stuff. So I love this RPG called Maze Rats. It's a very simple RPG, but the part I like about it is the magic system. So if you see here, right, for example, let's just say like you have let's just
magic.
roll for this, right? Let's say you got roll a 1 to 3 4 to 6. So you got this, and then you roll a 1 to 6 again, so it's gonna be a 3. So you got a physical effect plus a physical element. So you get one of these and one of these, right?
Yeah.
Do you choose,
so you can
or
roll.
how do you...
You just literally roll for them. So it's gonna be 1,
Oh, there. Okay.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6. So I'm just gonna roll on that. There's gonna be a 3, so it's this, and then it's gonna be 2. So it's grasping, 2, which is this, and then 1. Grasping clay. So some kind of clay that's able to grasp at enemies. So I was like, this seems very video gamey. This seems like something I can make into a video game. So I actually did in 6 hours last year. Basically, I decided to make something in 6 hours, and the reason I want to make it in 6 hours is because I told my friend who has never done video games in his entire life, I was like, hey, want to make a video game? You'll just help. I gave him the idea that like you just give me all of the effects needed and all of the elements needed, and I'll code it on the fly. So you say like tornado, cats. So I have to make a tornado cat somehow.
Right.
So basically, this is how it works. I run into it, and it will say water shot, so I can shoot water, right? It's the most boring one, right? Let's roll that again.
Most boring one?
Cat airstrike. So you got cat airstrike. Oh my god! And they can all like run around and kill people.
Are there 36 different versions? 37 that.
Yeah,
36.
basically. Yeah, basically it's like 6 versions of the first one, 6 versions of the latter one.
Yeah.
So I made it modular. So you can be like, I think it's 5 actually. I ran out of time because I was like, I just want to make this 6 hours and be done with it.
We're still 25.
Water airstrike. Earth shot. Oh, look at that! Wow.
DBS.
Cat focus. So
DBS haven't seen this. I thought like Chow talked about this during Dev
Yeah,
Chat.
he did a while back.
Alright.
Hey,
lightning blast. Anyway, so I was thinking, right, and I was like, oh shit, actually this is coincidental with like the DVS's thing because like it's dice and all that, but it's quite a different implementation. But basically, I was thinking, right, this has a lot of potential in my opinion.
Right.
What I was thinking was having a roguelike dungeon, an actual roguelike dungeon. As you go deeper in, you get more choices that you can replace your skills with. So you're gonna have 3 spells. Okay, let me just draw this out actually. Look at that graphs. Okay, let's say you have 3 spells, right? So you're gonna say like spell 1, spell 2, spell 3, and all of them are basically made up of 2 elements each. One of them is how it's inflicted, and second one is what it actually is. So for example, tornado, cats. So you'll create a tornado of that item, and then after a while, you'll relinquish control to the cats who will just run around killing everything, which you saw just now. Or if it's water, it will push things aside, whatever, right? But the idea was that every single room that you go into, you're gonna be given a choice of maybe 3 or 4, I don't know how many. You have to replace one of them with something in here. You know what I mean? Like you have to replace, like I think maybe it's gonna be 2 effects and 2 items. So it might be cat and water. You have to replace one of them with something that's inside there.
Right.
And the way that works is that like you're constantly forced to change up for the most the one that you think is the most optimal, basically. And but it's still randomly generated. And at the start, I think you just have like maybe 1 or 2 spells, and maybe it's a roguelike. So over time, you can basically you can have more spells added to your repertoire, like as you go through runs. And I think that might be interesting. But the thing is, I think it already works, basically. Like, I think this is already really interesting where you can basically generate out a randomized spell. And this basically, this kind of like a simplified version of how a lot of roguelikes work out, right? They're usually a combination of several things at once. But this is like very focused into an action kind of centric thing. And I was like, that could work really well. Like if it's on mobile, right? I could say, okay, in order to strike at somebody or cast a spell, if you cast the first spell, it's like a downward strike, like a downwards motion. if you cast a second spell, it's like maybe a left to right motion. If it's cast a third spell, it's right to left, something like that. Right, so you can even have 4 spells if you need. And I was thinking that it might work quite well for kind of like a mobile touchscreen based interface, and then you can move around using like I don't know, you can like move around by just tapping where you want to move or something like that.
Yeah.
But it will also work in terms of like a keyboard and mouse setup, so you can just literally click, or you can type the number keys and like it will cast the spell in that direction or at that location. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then I was like, yeah, like I already have something that I know works here, but I was like, okay, that's neat, but I kind of want to make sure that. So I'm just telling you the design of it right now. But I realized that the problem with this is that there's very little time to think. So I'm gonna make it so that when you're actually casting the spell, time is slowed down, like in High.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be making that. I actually wanted to make it like in February or March, but I got contacted by Apple, so I was maybe we'll start it sooner.
So
we'll see how the talk goes.
I have a question. So they contacted you, so I assume that would be for Apple Arcade, right?
I don't know, man.
They didn't say.
Like, can you get a video call? And I was like, yeah, sure, man.
Oh yeah. The video call thing happens, but they didn't say anything about like
But they didn't say anything, no.
Arcade. Oh, because if it is Apple Arcade, right, you can just ask for development funds, right? If they approach you for that, you can try. I think you can try.
Yeah, it might be Apple Arcade. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, I have no idea why they want to talk to me, but maybe it's cool. I don't know. But yeah, like I think I love this. I'm in love with this idea. Obviously, I think this is like I really love this magic system. It's just like regenerating cats. Oh my god! Or like, well, let's see.
So wait,
maddening cats. Can just make them go insane, start killing each other.
So
maddening cats, you can't see shit.
So I'm trying to understand how the game works in practice. Is it gonna be like a arena brawler?
Oh yeah. So I was thinking of being an arena brawler, right? But I don't think it's gonna be that. I think it's gonna be an actual roguelike, like a Nuclear Throne or the Gungeon.
Right.
Where you have 4 spells or 3 spells or whatever. You're basically swapping them out, you know, as you go along. Yeah. Yeah. And I thought that was really interesting because this guy who made this game with me, Nokia.
Yeah.
He's been like bugging me for Wizard High every day. He's like Wizard High, and I'm like,
wait, what High?
Sure, Wizard High.
Wizard High.
Like High for wizards, and I'm like, sure, but no, I'm actually just gonna do a wizard thing where you just go through a dungeon. So I'm gonna make that.
Right.
I'm planning to make that in a month. I think I finished the whole thing in a month and then I release it.
Right.
Roguelike, procedural. Like the way I'm thinking about timeline is I can make the main mechanic in 1 week, then I can make the procedural generation in a few days, and rest is for polish.
In a few days, wow.
Probably a day or 2.
That's Chow's signature speed.
No, it's because I've made procedural generation like quite a few times already.
Right.
I've made it for gens and stuff.
Right.
All sorts of procedural generation stuff. And speaking of which, I'm actually writing a paper on that now. So let's go to that.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm working up a paper on like how to do procedural generation mechanics for solo RPG play, which is not really related to video game development. But I thought it might be interesting to bring up because the way that I'm actually doing this is from this article by Star Victory, who's a roguelike developer actually.
Right.
And they actually got this idea from Unexplored. I don't know if you heard of this roguelike called Unexplored.
I think I have.
It's a way of cyclic dungeon generation, which allows it to make lock and key mechanics and stuff like that as an overall structure to the dungeon. Right? So I was like, okay, that's cool, and this is cool. So you can just randomize it. You can randomize, okay, I get 7, I get this. And then you insert the other cycles into this. So what happens is that you get something like this, right? And like that, right? So you can generate out a random structure for the dungeon and it eventually gives you this. So you can de-abstractify it using programming, or you can just do it by hand. It's usually easier to just do it by hand, actually. It's one of those things that's easier for a human to do because you can make more sense of it.
Right.
So this is how it works, basically. Like, basically you use this, you convert it into this, and then eventually you de-abstractify it enough that you can create this through cellular automata or something like that, or BSPs, right? This one's using BSPs and cellular automata. So then eventually you make a whole ass like dungeon map. Yeah,
it's amazing.
So I'm planning on doing something like this, especially since I've been doing so much research into how this works, and it will actually generate dungeons that make sense. So a lot of the times when you're making dungeons, there's no overall goal. But for the dungeons that I made using this, you can basically. I'm talking about this from a traditional RPG perspective, right? But it works for digital dungeons as well.
Right.
If you're using the mechanic, right, you essentially have a dungeon where you can have a trick to it. For example, you reach the goal and you think it's the goal, but it's actually a false goal, and you have to go further to get the actual reward. Or for example, you might reach the end of the dungeon, think it's the goal, but you have to backtrack through the entire dungeon with something chasing after you, something like that. This
Right.
happened in this session here. And that sounds like, oh, that's perfect for traditional tabletop stuff, but the fact is that this came from a digital procedural generation technique, and it's actually already proven to work. So I'm planning to kind of use something like this, not exactly this. I'm making a lot of adjustments to it, but if I'm doing this method of procedural generation, it will not take me 1 day or 2 days. It will take me like 2 weeks because it's gonna be very hard. But I think it might be worth it, so I might do that. But yeah, this is the article that I'm writing is basically how to use, where is it? How to use this, right, for solo. So how to make it so that you still have the surprise of not knowing what the dungeon you're going to is, while still keeping overall inherent structure to the dungeon.
So this is a TT RPG project that you're working on.
Yes, but I'm actually going to be using the same logic on my digital dungeon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because it can work for both. It can easily work for both. The problem with the digital side is de-abstractifying the dungeon. That's the problematic part. So most of this paper is dedicated to how to de-abstractify the information in a way that makes spatial sense.
Right.
And the way they do it is by using BSPs, basically.
Right.
It's a grid of nodes, and then they make this, and all these parts can be applied by cellular automata.
Oh, that's cool, man. This developer went on to make a spiritual sequel, right?
Yes, Unexplored 2. So Unexplored 2 actually uses the same method, but it uses it on an overworld. So there's an overarching quest where you got lock and key mechanics, where it's not really a lock and key. It's more like, for example, you might have a big monster, but the weakness is like not far away. You can get it, you can come back and defeat the monster. So Unexplored 2 actually makes it so that the entire world is basically feels handcrafted. The reason people don't like it, actually, there's mixed reviews on it. Reason people don't like it is very punishing. It's much more like an actual traditional tabletop RPG than any other game, basically.
Right.
So people are not too much a fan of that. The way that I'm going to be using this technique for my stuff is more from an action-oriented approach. So when they say lock and key, right, I mean an actual lock and key. Here you can see like there's lock and key type. So there can be literal lock and key or terrain feature or whatever. For example, there might be poison on the ground. And there's a way to evade it. But you can still just run through the poison and get damage. It's fine. So I'm going to approach it from that angle, a more action-oriented angle. So it's going to be used in a completely different way. I just find it interesting that there's an intersection of digital procedural generation techniques and traditional tabletop RPG stuff. And I'm learning a lot from my traditional tabletop stuff that I'm bringing over to digital. Even though it's like, I'm still making an action game, right? But all this stuff still works pretty well. So that's basically the plan. I just think that it's something that I can potentially do pretty well, but still have a lot of interest factor to it. Because a lot of my problems with my games is that after a while I get tired of them. But I find that if I make roguelikes, I don't get tired of my own game. Because it's different every time, right?
Right.
Different situations every time.
Sorry, tired of them as in tired of playing your own game or tired of developing it?
Yeah, tired of playing my own game.
Right.
Yeah. So I was thinking of basically basing my roguelike off maze rats, which is an interesting thing, right? Especially since it's allowed, actually. It's actually Creative Commons.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So a lot of people, this is one of the most hacked RPGs of all time because a lot of people use it. You just need to give credit, right? So people use it, give credit, and they are allowed to use all of the text verbatim. Basically, they just have to change up like how it's used, right? So that's cool.
I don't even know what maze
I'm
red
planning
is.
on. Sorry.
I don't even know what maze red is actually.
It's basically kind of a play on words. Maze is like a reference to the dungeon, and rats is like the adventurers, scum basically.
Right.
Idiots.
You ever heard of mall rats? It's kind of the same thing, but
yeah. It's basically that.
Right.
I was thinking like, yeah, it might be fun to kind of like make something that's inspired heavily by TTRPGs. But what is the kind of game I like making? I like making action games. So yeah, I was thinking that could be cool. I mean, just think about it. It's like, wow, regenerating flesh. Wow, that's kind of fucked up actually. Yeah, but yeah.
That makes sense. No, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can heal people, or it can just be a bunch of flesh shoots out of your wand and just envelops them and starts crawling around and stuff. That's probably cooler, right?
Or maybe it's like giving them the curse of tumors, right?
Oh yeah. Expanding flesh will probably be that though.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, but basically the thing is like programming all this. I don't know if it seems complicated, but it's. Does it seem complicated? Actually, I don't know.
How would you go about handling all the different combinations?
Yeah.
Just as be as modular as possible. So actually, I just use the way that I program this kind of stuff, right? It's not how you normally program action games. Normally, action games the effects are hard coded in. But when I make this kind of stuff, I basically use roguelike design patterns. So I use like serialized objects and stuff like that.
Right.
And modularize all of the effects, and I can mix and match them basically. So when I say mix and match, I don't mean that I make a duplicating effect and then I mix and match that. I mean that I make effects that can be combined to make a total effect.
Right.
For example, right? Let's say levitating.
Yeah.
It needs to hit a target firstly, and then it can push them up. So I can make the push them up a separate effect, and I can say the up is a variable in it. So I can say, let's say there's another one, let's say dividing, right?
Yeah.
Instead of up, it can be left or right. So it can be like, you can combine different effects to make an overall effect. That's how I'm doing it, basically. And it's pretty simple. It's like, you just put in a very key like mechanic into each of those, and then you couple them together like Lego, and eventually you can make a whole bunch of physical effects and a whole bunch of physical elements. I'm also hoping to also use some of the ethereal ones, but I think that's gonna be harder. Like some of them are easy, like intoxicating, make them drunk or whatever.
Right.
But like others are harder to do, like scrying, like what? And Ujabo just comes out and like, oh, your fortune. No, I'm not gonna do that. Paralyzing.
Make the shop owner pop up or something.
Just like you just
like
can spawn a shop owner.
It's like, hey, you want to buy something?
And then the fight, like what is here is what you can buy. Yeah, but I think like it results in a lot of interesting situations like that, where like you will make stuff where you can mix combinations where I wouldn't have thought of those combinations. Like if you make them modular enough, right? Like even with this game, it was like 5x5, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just 25. Yeah, it wasn't 6x6 because like I said I ran out of time, but 5x5, I didn't even think of some of the stuff that you could do, like the edge cases. So that's the bad part and the good part. The good part is I will be surprised. The bad part is there will be edge cases where I will bang my head against the wall.
Right. Edge cases like potential balancing issue?
Not balancing issues. I not really balancing issues. More like bugs that can happen as a result of two objects not being modular enough. The main problem is whether they're modular enough or not. For example, right? Let me give a concrete example. The cats. Initially, I made the cats just move around, right?
Yeah.
But the tornado moves them around at the start forcefully. So what happened was one of them just took priority. And the cats will just move around even though they're spawned as a tornado. That's a very simple example. That's a very easy problem to fix, but you got more weird ones along the way. Basically, stuff that can conflict with each other that means that you shouldn't set any variable in this. You should never set a variable if you're doing something modular. It should be incremented, modify it, but it should never be set.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Because that will wipe out whatever was done before, right?
Yes, that means you can't, if you set something somewhere, right, there's one caveat to that. You can set it if it's a physical effect, but never set it in a physical element, if that makes sense. For example, if you will only ever modify the movement in here, then it's okay to set a movement because you'll never modify in elements. You only combine an effect and element. But that's a very rare scenario, and you have to write that down. You have to be like, oh, I will only do this here. So it's very dangerous to do that because in the future you might be like, I forgot that I did that and I just set it in elements. So the safest thing to do when you're doing modular stuff, just never set anything in stone, basically.
Right.
Like my programming wise, basically.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's pretty eye-opening. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Nokia say, just give me a little bot child. That's all I ask.
Fuck you! Get out of here! Anyway, but like, oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to say. Also, I can't believe he's here. I didn't check the chat. Anyway, so I wanted to make it so that like we can have weird stuff, right? Just weird stuff happen. Can you see the problem here? Okay, if I make let's say, okay, this is fine. Let's say if I make somebody who's always polite, how do you see that in? That's a bad example, but you get what I'm saying, right? There's stuff where it's not immediately apparent.
Right.
That, fierce birds, right? Fierce birds. You only know it when there's a beard appears and he suddenly just runs away. I want to use some of this stuff, right? Like for example, if I spawn a bunch of birds, I want them to be like, oh no, and run away, right?
Yeah.
But how do I show that? And that's where the slow motion comes in. When you basically super hot it, like basically if you are drawing a symbol or you're drawing something, it will slow down, but it will also show all the traits of everybody around you.
Right.
You can pause the game essentially and be like, okay, this guy does not like birds. This guy does not like blood. This guy is I don't know. This guy must sing. I don't know. I don't know. Like must sing. I'll throw acid into his mouth. I don't know. Like you get what I'm saying. Like there's some stuff where it needs to be explicitly told to you that is the condition of that character. So I'm gonna make the slowdown thing, and that's I think solves majority of my issues. Is there anything that you can think of that I might want to do with this? Mainly the meta of it. Like, should it be a arena game? Should it be a roguelike? I said I want to do a roguelike, but any thoughts on like the overall? Like, I think the mechanic is large enough that it's hard to give information on that until I actually implement it. But in terms of like the overall structure, do you guys think it will work better as an arena game, roguelike, or
how vast are the combinations? Like how many combinations do you think you'll be offering to the player?
I'm aiming for 20 by 20, and I'm aiming for about 5 to be unlocked per level.
Oh.
So it's maybe 4 levels. And that sounds like a lot at first glance, but I did make this in 6 hours and I got 5 and 5. So actually, that's actually a low estimate, probably. I can probably make a lot more. The main problem would be like finding edge cases, which is just playtesting, I guess.
Right. So I was just thinking if it is an arena brawler, right, then you are in a confined space and then you're expecting to fight an enemy, right, every few seconds, then maybe the player wouldn't spend so much time thinking about like what kind of move they have at their disposal, right? But whereas if it is like this full-fledged adventure, then maybe they will take their time to observe the scenario. Yeah.
Well, even if it was like an arena brawler, right, I was gonna make it freeze at the end of each round, and then you have to choose like which slot to put it in.
Oh, sure.
So they shouldn't be thinking when they're actually fighting. They should just be like, that guy eats birds, I'm gonna throw a bird at him. So it's like three attacks, right?
Right.
And I'm gonna use the bird attack. I don't know, like there's 1, 2, 3. You use 2, whatever. But during the in-between time and figuring out which ones to slot in, right, that's important that it slows down. There needs to be some downtime, basically.
Right.
In both cases, there needs to be downtime.
Yeah. I actually ran into this problem with my game.
Oh.
That you're talking about where they just keep going. They don't care what the hell they get.
Yeah, that's why I like your skull mechanic.
Yeah. I was like, how do I slow them down?
Yeah, I thought that was really smart. Like I thought that was like a perfect way to, like they have to see it first, right? They have to be like, the skull, nope, reroll.
Get punished.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think in my case I wouldn't do that though. I would just literally stop time and be like,
you just have that. I mean, I have
like
downtime between each fight, but for yours, yeah, it'd make more sense to have the whole just stop everything and just be like, okay,
yeah. I think the thing is like I just have to have downtime. That's the main thing. In both cases, otherwise it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of the overall idea, though?
I,
You guys, what do you think?
I like
It
it.
sounds very Vampire Survivor code. That would definitely work. And
If it's an arena, right? If it's an arena, it
Mm.
will be very.
Well, it doesn't have to be like a closed off arena, just like because in Vampire Survivors you can go anywhere, sort of. But it's like endless in any direction. You just keep going.
Yeah, I don't think I want to go with that actually. If I'm going with like arena, I was thinking arena it might be like I need it to kind of evolve over time in a sense. And Vampire Survivors does, right? It gives more types of enemies, and at certain time slots they will spawn special enemies. But I was thinking like, I kind of want the spatial place to be kind of confined because I wanted certain spells to make use of that, if possible. Yeah. But yeah, that's just. I do think I'm leaning towards the roguelike though, because the roguelike thing, because it's just I feel like it's easy enough for me to do and it will add a lot more depth, so why not?
Yeah.
It does feel very roguelike build. The only thing I can think of with that is if it becomes too random. So like if you look at Gungeon, they work towards getting their guns or whatever.
Yeah.
But in your case, your effects are so random.
Oh no. Sorry, go ahead.
I have to wonder if like. Oh yeah, so when you were showing this off, this little the 4 things or whatever.
Yeah.
The first thought I had was someone's gonna just use one of the dice as a burner. So they're just gonna put all their bad choices into like one dice if they're forced to have to do it.
Oh no. The way it works is not like you have to replace one of these slots with one of these. So there's always gonna be a good one, basically. You just have to choose the best one. Like all of them will be good, if that makes sense.
Well, that's what I'm curious about. Would they all be good? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe not. I guess it could be like it could just be blast and then rock and then. Yeah, I guess like some of them won't be that good. So you're saying like some of them might just, all of them are bad, they'll just put them into one burner die.
Yeah, they'll just start. Yeah, they just end up having a burner die. That like if the worst choices they get, they just throw into the burner die.
Actually, that might be a simple solution for that. Just having two of these, which is why like at first I was thinking just 2, because that will be simpler to keep track of, and also it makes every choice more important, I guess.
I actually didn't fully grasp this diagram. Oh, sorry. I didn't quite fully like understand this diagram. Do you mind?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I was thinking at the end of each room or each level, I'm not sure. Basically, you're offered 4 things. 2 of them are what do I call them again? Physical effects, right?
Yeah.
2 of them are physical elements. You have to replace one of your spell slots with one of these. So you have to basically replace this with either this or this, or this with this or this, or this with this or this, or this with this.
Oh, sorry. I can see the cursor, so I'm not sure which one you're.
Oh, sorry. Let me. Can I make the cursor? Can you see it now?
Oh yes, you can see it now.
Wait. Let me. Basically, it's like this or this, this or this, this or this, or this or that. So basically, all of these are elements, and this is the. Well, they call it effects, so it's just but you get it, right? Like basically all the elements you can put it into the element slot, and then you have to swap one of them.
Oh.
You have to do one swap. You're forced to, basically.
Right.
You cannot just say I'm gonna stick with what I have, because if you have an awesome build, right, you're not gonna want to swap. But you're gonna have to swap, basically.
Right.
You have to make the most of what you already have.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And there's gonna be certain effects that are only good with certain elements, I imagine. So you might be like, I'm gonna get this effect and never use this dice until I can find an appropriate thing to use with it.
Right.
Yeah. So that way it can be a burner die, so to speak. And I'm like, it's a burner die, so to speak, but it matters because you only have 2 choices here.
Right.
For spells. So this spell 1, this spell 2. And this spell 2. Yeah, and I think actually that might be better. Devious gives a very good point in that if you have 4 spells, right, it's a lot easier to just discard one of them, and it's also easier to, like, it's stuff matters less. At first, I wanted to go with 2, but I also wanted the opportunity for growth, right? Like after several runs, you can get 3, maybe 3 spells or 4 spells. But actually, Devious does make a good point. I have to think about that. Yeah.
So during a round, you have up to 2 spells that you can cast.
Yes.
Right.
You have 2 spells they can cast. So it's like probably left click or right click, or in terms of like touch base, it's probably just going to be a double tap or a triple tap or something like that.
Wait, what's the? Where's the dice coming on this?
The dice? Oh, as in like in the original in this?
Yeah.
Yeah. The dice were just like there to like signify the random choice, and also because the theme for GMTK 2022 was dice. So,
wait. The game you're talking about now, the newer one, not this one, not iWizard. This one doesn't have dice.
It does not have dice.
Oh.
Sorry if I made that confusing.
I was like,
yeah, but it's just literally like they just give you a bunch of spell effects, and you can be like, put it into here.
that would definitely make a burner spell. On the
but if you have 2 spells only, then even if you have a burner spell, it still does affect things, because that means that you have less choice.
Right.
But if you have 4 and you have a burner spell, it can be a bit of a problem if you have 4. I think 2 is good.
Right. So you have.
That's a good point.
All right. If you have like so many different combinations of spells, then something must be done to ensure that, I mean, because then you end up with like drastically different spells from round to round, right? How are you going to ensure that all the spells are going to be at least semi-effective during combat? And if they are at least semi-effective during combat, then what differentiates one spell from the other? Like, how does it drastically change
I have a very simple answer to that.
Yes.
Balance goes out the window. So basically, right, when I am thinking about a spell, I'm not thinking about balance, and I'm not thinking about whether it's effective in a fight.
Right.
I'm literally just thinking, is it different enough from the rest of the spells? The reason I say this is because, for example, right, if I have a certain spell that does not work with majority of elements, but works very well with one element just by happenstance, and I don't plan for that, that's perfectly fine. When I do need to worry about balance and how effective the spells are, is when I figure out when I'm going to be offering them within the game structure. So, for example, in the first level, right, it should all be spells that spell components that are relatively harmless in a sense, but as you go in deeper, it should be more effective. So at that stage, when I'm starting to like partition it out, then I have to start to think, is it actually more effective? Does that make sense? Like, primarily my main issue is not going to be balance, is for like maximum damage or maximum effectiveness. My main issue is making them different enough, because that is gonna be what makes it interesting to cast these spells, not the effectiveness of it per se. For example, let me give you like a concrete example. Let's say if you had a ice spell, right?
Yeah.
And you had a fire enemy, and the ice spell works very well against the fire enemy, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that in and of itself already makes it useful. But if you have something that is generally just useful, like for example, you hit wood and you can just like hit the wood at people, I don't know, or blood or something else like bone.
Okay.
I don't know. You can hit something else at them, but it doesn't have a special effect, right?
Yeah.
That is what I want to kind of avoid. I want to have something where it's like, okay, this has a specific kind of like thing that differentiates it from everything else. And the effectiveness will procedurally like kind of generate from that. Because once you have the ice and it affects the fire guys, then you know that once you're in a fire region, you need the ice.
Right.
Or like, yeah, in that kind of scenario, it will create its own usefulness. However, if you're in a scenario where there's no fire guys, and ice turns out, and you pick it, you're being a dumbass. So like that's your own fault. So that creates a meaningful choice in that regard. And you start to understand the levels more and more, you will be able to make more meaningful choices. That's the goal anyway. I don't know if that's gonna work.
I think I have a semi-solution for your multiple spell thing, because I think having multiple spells would also be pretty good.
Yeah.
You can give them ammo, so that's what Gungeon does.
Or a cooldown, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I do have a cooldown like in this one actually. Like,
well, maybe not a cooldown because you can just keep using it. But
yeah, because like the cooldown is actually different per spell. In this, the cooldown like based on like the spell type, its spell combination will give you different types of cooldown. So for example, Cat Tornado will have a much longer cooldown than some other spells. Like the blast, it seems useless, right? But it has a very short cooldown. So is it something like that you're saying?
No. So like, for the cooldown, it would be this, but for the ammo, once you use up the ammo, quotes, then you can't, you no longer have that spell or that combination or something. Because Gungeon does the same kind of thing. Whenever you run out of a gun, you need to either collect ammo or I haven't played in a long ass time. You either gotta collect ammo or you just can't use that gun anymore. Like that gun's just gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about like how to limit resources, but the ammo might be a bit of a tough one because I kind of have to figure out how to actually figure out how much ammo to give per, like, will it be just replenished every time you go to the end of a room, or like, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
I would figure, because you were saying your weighted system with the more effective things.
Yeah, but like
I would guess those would have like less ammo.
Okay, so like if you replace like something good, then it will just have less, and if you replace something bad.
Basically.
Yeah, that might work. I think I have to look into it. Because I don't really also know what will happen if you do run out completely. Although I can just give them a stupid like staff hit that's like really really bad or something. That's what Gungeon does, right? It gives like a very
it gives you a basic gun. Like any game that does that kind of thing, it gives you like the
infinite
gun.
use. Yeah.
Like Lara Croft's
a staff that
twin
you be like,
pistols.
I whack it for D4 damage.
And I guess you could make it, because again, Gungeon does this. Make the enemies give you the ammo. So you have to actually use the things to get the ammo to use more or something like that.
I actually like the idea that you were saying about like using the ammo for like when you swap it in, it gives you more ammo. That makes it you have an incentive to swap in bad stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
That would work. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I guess I'll prototype it out. I don't know whether I'm gonna wait for February or March to do this, but my hand might slip. It'll probably slip. It'll probably be like and then suddenly I have a game. So that's how it works. So yeah, I think I'm done. I think okay. So the next week, what am I doing next week? Oh yeah, I'm undergoing very bad health issues. So next week I'm actually trying to plan for nothing, but that might turn out not to be the case, as you might know with me. So yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Are you still doing
my plan is to do nothing.
Right. But have you been doing your YouTube stuff?
Yeah, I've been uploading a video every week, and I'm gonna make another video about a paper that I'm making for
the cyclic thing, right?
And it's gonna take a while.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that particular project of making the video for the cyclic dungeon generation is gonna be a massive undertaking actually. Because like I have to explain it in a way that makes it seem simple, which wait, like can I show one more thing? Wait, let me show one more thing.
Yes, please.
Before I end off. So this is the flowchart that I made for how the thing works. And I don't know about you, but if you're not a programmer, right? Let's assume that you don't know anything about programming, or like, yeah, let's just say you're a regular board game player or something, and then you see this, and then you see this. You're gonna be like, I think, right, for most people would be like, fuck that, that's stupid. Why would you do that?
Actually, this one, the hand-drawn one, looks a lot more understandable
than the flowchart.
No, this is how to generate this, basically.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But that other diagram that you have, that thing just looks confusing.
It is.
That looks way more confusing.
Yeah, I was like, I shouldn't even show this. I should just explain it because it's easy to explain. I did it on stream just now. I was like, I shouldn't even show this. This just for me, so I can formalize my process.
Right.
I shouldn't even show that. But like the actual dungeon itself ends up looking like that, Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's pretty easy to see. Like it works. It works really well. It's just I gotta find a way to show it, and not assume that people are gonna put up with this shit. I guess.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think you just gotta range
Chinny,
it
as a
in
teacher,
like.
as a professional teacher, as
Uh,
like teacher of the year
part time,
2023.
no count. No,
Part-time teacher of the year 2023. Do you have any advice?
no, I don't know, man. I've never talked
What the
about
heck?
subjects like this.
Oh my god! Look at
Well, it has to do with visual. What's that stupid word?
visual
Huh?
clarity.
I
Visual
guess you could
clarity.
call it that. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with
Yeah.
that.
Visual
It
clarity.
has
Oh
to do with
yeah.
visual clarity, so it's not just a
I'm getting into
jumble.
board games, by the way, Devious.
Mm.
I like I got this game recently, and it's gonna arrive soon. So I'm pretty happy.
Teen
It's like a
Helm.
solo board game. Yeah, it's cool. And right after I bought this, the designer actually sent me a message saying he loves my videos, and I'm like, what the heck? What a
Oh,
coincidence! What
Wait,
a
how do you know you
coinky
bought
thing.
it?
Sorry, but he didn't know.
How do
He didn't know I bought it. It was just completely unrelated.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was like, what a
That's
coinky
funny.
thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, that's kind of strange.
that looks good.
But yeah.
He saw
Anyway,
your
let's
info
talk
and he was
about-
like, "I'm gonna spy on this guy."
Oh no.
He was like, "Oh, this guy's."
No, I actually like look into my subscription history, and he actually subscribed to me before I bought it. I just didn't notice.
Mm.
So yeah, that's cool. That's really cool because I
Yeah,
really
that's
look up to the guys who design stuff.
Wait, you
Yeah.
you can see your subscribers?
In YouTube, yeah.
Oh,
They
oh,
actually inform you every time someone subscribes to you.
no, I thought
They tell you
most
every single
most
time.
people actually keep it hidden, right? I think.
What? But they inform you every single time that like you get subscriber.
Oh, is that it?
Well, Chinny,
Yeah.
No, I
Chinny,
thought
you have to
only
unsubscribe.
if like people opt to have that be
Just because
broadcasted.
you're popular and get too many subscribers.
No, no, no,
And oh my
no,
god.
please, no, no, no. I just
Oh,
thought
yeah, no,
that.
no, it doesn't
yeah.
inform you. It doesn't inform you.
Right. I see. Cool, man. Cool.
Cool,
Thanks for
very
sharing.
Cool. Thank you. Okay.
Shall we? Yeah, recap.
Yeah, recap.
Yeah, is John still awake? Yes.
Yeah.
John, wake up.
I'm alive. So I'm going to start on my New Year's resolutions and learn a new language and maybe do a little new prototype next week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your Chinny and Julius? What's your New Year's resolution?
I don't have one. I don't really do those. It's
That's
just another day
good.
for me.
New Year resolution.
That's probably smart. Yeah.
My resolution has always been to release one thing a year. So I kind of failed last year's one, right? Because I didn't release it fully. I released a pre-order only. Yeah.
Mine is to chill out.
Nice. What? Wait. But that means you've failed your resolution
Oh yeah,
of
it's
chilling
true.
out.
Yeah.
Ah.
DOA.
God.
No, chilling out is a good resolution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just change it to chill out more.
Chill out more. Yes.
Yeah.
John, you're done with your recap?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For me, I'll be working on updates as well as Jump Jaboa's World 13 update as well. That's half done, so I need to resume work on that. I will be releasing my game on Wednesday. I pray that nothing goes wrong. Yeah, that's about it for me.
Very cool.
If I my lights are kind of flickering, so if I cut off because the storm killed me.
Oh no.
Yeah, the storm's pretty bad right now. It keeps coming on and off, but when it is on, it's like pouring. I can hear it. It sounds like someone slapping the roof.
Oh man.
Anyways, recap. I'm gonna work on the some more UI stuff. Check out some bugs because I had to refactor some stuff. And I haven't ran any bugs from the refactoring yet, but that's a big yet. Then I gotta work on the boss fight and some more NPCs, which this shouldn't take too much longer. And then once that's done, then I'm done with the game. Then I can release it for $5. This one's going on for pence.
Right.
Whatever
Very
five
cool.
is.
What
I
about
think it looks
the?
really cool. It looks really fun.
Yeah, it does. Are you still gonna go back to?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because whenever I was making this for the not for, but whenever I was making this, I'm sharing it in the streamers chat,
Uh,
Discord. They started checking out some of my other games, and one of the games they really liked
uh.
was Night of the Living Dead. And so that started making me like feel I don't want
Yeah.
to stop Dragonmon and then just jump right back onto
Yeah, that one
Living
is like
Dead.
half done, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
my head's still again.
yeah, but like Night of the Living Dead was one of the this is one of my favorite projects that I've worked on.
It's also one of your bigger projects, right? You've been working on it for.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest projects. Yeah, I think it is the biggest project.
I mean,
it'd be a
the
Time of
map
Dragon
size
maybe.
is also the
I mean, it's a
biggest
whole
as
ass
well.
Metroidvania, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying, Stream?
No, I'm just saying that, yeah, that just in terms of the physical size of the world, yeah. It's big, right? Yeah.
I mean, it only looks big, Yeah, it is pretty big. Actually, I don't know how much content they were able to go through, but there's like 2 hours of content maybe in there. I started noticing because man, when they die on parts, they just hook to them, and the streamer spent like an hour on just that. I don't know when. Oh wait, no, I haven't played the new one. I just uploaded the one I was working on before the last because they were playing it and they had the older version. And I was like, oh, you know what? I never actually uploaded the updated version that I'd been working on for a while. And I slapped that out, and then like that's like that massive world you saw. Like all that is in the game now. You can just go play it. So I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it. Wait, what were we talking about?
we're talking about Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
And talking about
not...
giving an updated build, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, y'all can just go play that now. Just you want me to link it or?
Later? Oh yeah, sure.
I can link that too because it's the updated. They were playing it, they were really liking it. Then I just was like, here, have the have the updated version.
Nice.
And they were like, oh my god, this is so much better. Because if you actually look on the Night of the Living Dead page, it is very different than what the game actually looks like now. Well, I don't know if y'all can hear that thunder.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Is everything okay?
A tiny bit of rumbling in the background.
Yeah, there's like a little rumbling. You like whatever. Yeah, so I linked it anyways. So yeah, the game, like if you look on the page, it's screenshots. They look nothing like the game now.
Oh,
so
right.
Change those eventually, but whatever. I linked it in the server. You can link it in the chat.
Let me do that. Oh man, brings back memories. I must have played this like a year ago or something.
Yeah. Well, you never played the version that's out now. You played the older one. This one was literally updated like 3-4 days ago.
Ooh. Okay.
And it has like all the sections I was working on, like that whole world. Whenever I zoomed out that one day a long time ago, and that's all in the game now. So
nice.
Like you can go do that.
I'm gonna download it.
Yeah.
Codename.
Then they started playing like one of my other games and stuff, and they were like having a blast. So that was pretty cool. Seeing them play my old stuff. All right, that's my recap.
Awesome.
Very cool. I'm gonna make a video game, but I don't know if this is gonna be next week. I also released a book. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I did some other stuff as well, but it's like just programming experiments and just art stuff. And I'm gonna be working as a professional artist.
Professional.
Like, I don't know why I say it like that. Yeah, for like a TTRPG core book soon called Under Ashen Skies. And I'm gonna be doing all the art in that book, and there's gonna be a lot of art. So that's gonna be fun.
What's the duration of the? Yeah, how long will it be?
Yeah.
Probably gonna be over the course of this year, I think.
Oh wow, really?
It's a long-term project.
It's a lot of art. It's a lot of art.
Yeah, that is a lot of art.
Since, I think 2018. He's been working on it since 2018.
Damn.
Oh man.
It's a big book. Yeah. So there's gonna be some stuff going up, and I probably can't talk about it. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
and I think it's Silent Hill inspired, and I'm gonna be able to draw like crazy monsters. So I'm happy about that.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. And then
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's about it. This coming week, I am trying my best to do no work whatsoever, but we know how that goes. So we'll see what happens.
Just
we're gonna send you a zip for the virus. Ciao.
Sorry, what? Oh, I have to get possibly get. No, that's too much. That's too much.
Just sit back and chill, man. Yeah, play some games.
Dude, you sound like my mom, dude. That's what my mom would say. Like, just relax, and I'm like, how?
Playing a game.
Hard.
Wait. Any game that you have been wanting to check out but you have not done so?
I mean, I already play Elden Ring.
I
want to play Elden Ring. It's so good, dude. Have you played Elden Ring yet?
Oh, not yet.
Yeah,
what the heck?
No, I
just watch people play it.
I don't have time to play like a 50-hour epic, you know? Yeah.
Just don't have the time.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although it is more like accessible, but it takes like 200 hours to get through all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's really
like,
true.
I have this trouble all the time, right? Like, you know, when I have part-time work, right? Most of the time I can only game like maybe a couple hours per week. And so like in that gap, right, that 1 week gap, I would have forgotten like a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm even worse than you in terms of playing video games actually.
Oh.
Because like I don't play any now. I don't play any at all.
Oh damn.
Because I just do solo RPG stuff.
Yeah.
I just be like, wow, solo RPG is very fun, and then I just play those. And I read books now. That's what I do. I read books and I turn off my computer at 10 p.m. and just read books.
Oh, that's chilling. That's relaxing.
Yeah.
No, it's usually like studying almost. I think notes and stuff. Why am I doing this to myself? Now that I think about it, like why am I? Whatever.
You're crunching on light, Chow. You're crunching.
Yeah. I graduated from university already. Why am I doing this?
Why, Chow? Why?
Anyway, yeah, that's my recap.
Okay.
I got the zip. I want you to open, Chow.
Sorry, what?
I got a zip file for you.
Oh no.
What's it for?
What's in? This is very ominous. What's in?
No, I don't actually.
Open the zip file and I suddenly get coronavirus through my monitor.
What?
Just gonna put a big old duck on your screen. Just gonna sit there. It's gonna be like, yeah, 5
and then it's like John's game occurs, and that's the only thing I can play. Windows is gone. My operating system is gone. I can play John's like rubber ducky game. Oh my god.
Okay.
No offense, John. Your rubber ducky game is good. I sounded like super mean. I didn't intend it to be sound mean.
Sound like Chinny now, Chow.
What? sound like Chinny? Wait, what sound like me?
Bully.
Oh no! Oh no, John.
Anyway.
John, they say I bully you, John. Is that true, John?
Anyway, that's my recap.
Alright, fantastic. Well, I guess we'll do this again next Sunday.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. You don't have to force yourself to come out with anything next week if your goal is to chill out, child. You can just join us and chit chat.
Well, no, it's gonna happen.
So
I know myself.
You already failed your resolution. Yeah.
So just lay down with a notepad, and like when you come up with something, you're still relaxing, but you're like, oh, I'm just gonna jot that down. Write that down.
Sounds so stressful. I feel like I'll be like lying down, and I'll be like staring rigidly up at the ceiling. Be like, I have to think of ideas right now.
Yeah, exactly. And the best. Because the problem with relaxing is if you're creative,
trying to relax is not relaxing, right?
Yeah, because your brain is what was that? I was watching a thing and it was talking about like you're more creative. You're most creative whenever you're bored. Because your brain just starts like
making shit up.
Yeah, just do because it's trying to do something. And so it just starts shooting off shit and just.
That's an interesting thought, actually. Oh yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
See you all next.
Yeah. See you all next week, man. Thanks for the chat.
What happens next. Next episode of Pokemon. Bye.
Dragon Ball Z. Alright, bye bye. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, that was great. It's also bloody hot. I'm like sweating up a storm. It's so humid in this room. I can't stand it. It's so hot. Anyways, in the chat are the links to DVS's game, Night of the Living Dead, and what's the other game's called? What's the other game? Tim's Paradise. So do feel free to check it out. Okay. I think we can end it here. Is there anyone currently streaming? Let me check. Well, no one's streaming that I know of. So I guess we'll end it here. Whew. Alright. Thanks for hanging around. I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.